Some time ago I bought this Sensah Empire group set. It was about time for me to do a long-term review. However, that all changed today. I must admit, I've been a bit of a fanboy regarding these Sensah Empire group sets. This set, which is a carbon fibre version, I've done about 10,000 kilometres on. And I've liked them because they're relatively cheap to buy, they've worked very well, and until today they've been reliable. While riding along, going up a small hill, all of a sudden my gears went crunchy. And when I looked down, the rear gear changer was a bit of a mess and the chain was twisted all over the place. And it broke the carbon fibre tension arm on the rear gear changer, and it's also broken this jockey wheel. In order to get myself home, I turned the bike into a single speed. I have made a short about that. So all I've got to do now is go home and replace this gear changer. I've taken the gear changer off the bike so we can take a look at it, and what you can see here is that this lower parallelogram has become disconnected from the rest of the gear change body. That's because there was a pivot pin in here. In fact, there are pivot pins in the other holes, and it seems to have fallen out. So that's what caused the problem that I had. From a design perspective, there's a bit of an error here. That if I look at the top side of that lower parallelogram, just in here, there is no sign of the pin. In fact, on this end, there's no sign either. So these holes are blind. Unfortunately, they put the blind side on the top or upmost surface. If they'd put it on this lower surface, gravity wouldn't have pulled this pivot pin out. So a small design change that might prevent this problem occurring, or at least occurring quite so badly, is that if they put the blind hole on this side, that is the lower side where gravity is acting, then that may help prevent that problem occurring. Having looked at the rest of these pivot pins, they all seem to be very secure and there doesn't seem to be a problem with them. They're not loose at all. This is the old gear changer that broke, and this is the one I'm replacing it with. The only difference between the two is that on the one that broke, it had a carbon fibre jockey wheel cage on it, whereas this one has an aluminium alloy cage. If I look closely at these pivot pins, in fact I've inspected them with a loupe, I can't see any problem with these. That suggests to me that perhaps that pin falling out was a bit of an anomaly, therefore not representative. So has this gear changer failure caused me to reevaluate my Sensah Empire fanboy status? The answer is yes. I no longer have full confidence in the system. And no, because I've convinced myself that failure was a bit of an anomaly. Also, one rear gear changer, 2 front gear changers, and 2 sets of drifters have worked flawlessly. Perhaps there's a quality control issue. Despite this, and because of that failure, I must admit, I now have some ambivalence towards the brand. I should recognise that it's not a one-way street. After all, I've had some major brand component failures too. I must admit, as an engineer, I enjoy the challenges that these sorts of failures present me with, and I enjoy finding solutions too, although I accept not everybody does. And this attitude will influence the way that I proceed. Because of the points I've just raised, I'll continue to use these Sensah components. I'll just use them more cautiously. For instance, I'll be checking the components more regularly and more thoroughly. Having said that, where component reliability is more critical, for instance on long rides or multi-day tours, I'll probably revert to using mainstream components, just to be safe.